Yo, alright, what's up guys? This is your boy Will coming at you with another video right here. This is 2017, January 1st chest video for 2017. Alright, let's talk about changing it up. Alright, so reason we talk about changing it up is because the body gets used to the exercises we put it through. You know, the body's an amazing mechanism. It's a machine, you know, but the thing is, it adapts really quick. And by really quick, I mean exercises you can get away with doing the same program for maybe like a whole month. Some have to change it, or some like to change it every 2 weeks. It really is all up to you, depending on, you know, how well it works for you, how well your body responds to it or to your program. But always switching it up is always a good thing. Even you can switch it up every exercise, you know, or you, I mean, sorry, every, well, yeah, pretty much like every session, you know. So anyway, number one thing, switch it up. You always hear me talk about how I really don't bench. I bench once in a blue moon. My reason is because of the shoulders. I really have to take care of my shoulder, especially like my left shoulder. I've had like problems with it before where it hurts, you know, not that it hurts, but it kind of like feels like something is not right, you know, and I don't want to injure myself. So benching, once again, once in a great while. Now, the cool thing is that I always do cables, like flies, and I noticed that, you know, last time I tried benching, I went all the way up to I believe it was 225. That's not in this video, but all the way to 225, and I did that for four to five reps. All right, you guys remember in the previous videos, like even when I was at a full bulk, I'm talking about like weighing 235 or 240 pounds, I was barely able to do 2 reps at only 205. So that's a huge accomplishment, even though it did take, what, like 2 years? But at least now I proved that you can get strong with just by doing, you know, cables. And when you do cables, I'm talking about like kind of like doing the same benching motion with the cables, doing cable flies, making sure that you hit overall chest, then you hit the kind of like from a lower angle, so you can hit the upper chest, and then the higher angle so you can hit the lower part of the chest. And recently I've been doing this. I've been doing seated, well, kind of like using the bench, like seated cable flies at an angle. So this way I'm pretty much targeting kind of like the upper half of the chest, and you can tell, like, you can notice the pump, you know, right away, especially like in that last take. And like I said, I really don't do this a lot, like the lower chest, but I'm gonna start implementing it a little bit more, simply because I want a well-rounded physique. I don't want any like lacking body parts. No, this is not really necessary, but it does add, you know, a bit more chisel to the physique, to the chest. For this one, you want to make sure you don't stand too far out in front of the machine. You still want a small angle, or somewhat of an angle, so I want to say maybe like 20-30 degree angle. And I'm talking about like the cable compared to the floor. So you notice, like, I'm not really too far out in front. It almost feels like you're only bringing your arms down to your sides, but it is right out in front of you. Okay. And a quick tip for you guys: when you're doing flies, make sure that when you go back into that part of the motion, so like the lower part of the motion, that you're squeezing your back, so bringing your shoulder blades together. You know, so as soon as your elbows line up with your shoulders, make sure that your shoulder stops moving there, and then you just squeeze your back. So bring your shoulder blades together so you get that much more. Kind of like popping your chest out, and then bam, bring it all the way in. I've noticed ever since I started doing that, or, you know, like kind of like implementing it more in the workouts, that I get more of a pump, you get more of a squeeze, and I feel way more muscle fibers coming into play than anything else, you know? Especially like those guys that like to stretch out the chest during the set, you know, like through like every rep. And I don't know, that's just, it makes me cringe because of like the shoulder issues, you know, like putting so much load up on the shoulders, and it's not good. And this one I just added in there just because the machine was there. The previous day I had done biceps, so this was the only exercise I did for this session. But this one works on the peak, and you want to make sure your elbow doesn't come down lower than your shoulder. You can keep it shoulder height or even a little bit higher is best. On the first set to the left, or yeah, to the left, that one was a lighter weight than the second set to the right. That was like heavier. That's why like my face looks like just horrible. Yeah, these are really good. The reason I kind of like anchor my arm to the other side of the machine is because, you know, same thing, you just want to make sure your whole body, you're not using more of your body to try to keep yourself up, but you can overload the muscle that way. Now this is another exercise that I kind of don't do much of. It's a once in a while type of thing. This one's really good. This one can actually target your lats as well as your chest. And it all depends on how you concentrate the motion. So if you want to hit your chest, make sure that when you're coming up, you have that mentality of keeping your elbows kind of close together and you're kind of squeezing them as you come up. And as you notice, the weight doesn't come all the way over my chest. You know, I stop as soon as I get to my forehead or kind of like right above my face. That way you keep most of the tension there on the chest, on the muscle the whole time, as opposed to bringing it right over, like the joint, right over your chest, and then you're pretty much just disengaging the muscle, so it stops working there, and it kind of like tires you out faster. Collectively. Now for the triceps, this is one of my favorite machines to do, dip machine. I like doing free weight dips, you know, and sometimes I'll finish up with that for the session, but those are really good. Right now I'm up to 3 plates on each side, so 6 plates total, and I think the last one I started with was 3 plates and a 25 on each side, so that's pretty heavy. You know, I just like pushing that, and especially since the triceps are supposed to be bigger than the biceps, you know, I gotta get them up there. But yeah, so just remember guys, always switch it up, and you can see how many different exercises I've done just by going back in the videos and checking them out. Just kind of like compare where I'm at now, what I'm doing, and you might see a lot more videos like this where I'm just explaining like the different exercises, or even I might be talking about something else completely, but the exercises will be there for you guys to kind of like have a visual while I'm just, you know, ranting on. Anyway, hope you liked the video. Any questions, comments, just leave them in the comments section, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Cool? Keep making gains in mind, body, and soul. And this is your boy Will, signing off. Peace.